I'm going to get started by telling you that I live a pretty normal life. I'm busy, but I live a pretty normal life. And there are many days when I conclude that I am the sum of my demands. That is, I just respond to so many things in a day that is who I become. And I don't think that that's healthy. My name is Joe Pavelka, and I'm a professor of ecotourism and outdoor leadership in the Department of Health and Physical Education at Mount Royal University in Canada. I'm honored today to be asked to respond to the work of Martin Allison, Alfonso Jimenez, and Joe Taylor. And I'm going to provide one sort of major insight, and then I'm going to also provide a question that I think is quite related to all of this. And the insight that I provide, I hope, captures a lot of the different elements coming out of the comments of those three. So here it is. A key theme coming out of all of this is that leisure suffers or has suffered in terms of its ability to measure its impact, its benefit, its credibility. I've even seen that word a number of times among elected officials, councillors, and even large parts of the public. And I think that that's really interesting. That issue has been around for over 30 years, easily. And I think it's interesting for a couple of reasons. When I think about that, and I have thought about that a bit, but when I do think about it, I think it's likely rooted in the fact that elected officials and other parts of our public tend to think of leisure as being this organic thing that we just do. Why do we need leisure services? Why do we need leisure services to support mental health? Don't we just do this thing? And I think that there is something to that. And even within the academic community, we have people like Chris Rojak, who wrote many, many years ago, we learn to play before we learn to work, implying that this thing that we call leisure is somehow innate. And I do believe it is. But then you go to the problem, and what is the problem? The problem is this lack of credibility, inability to measure, et cetera, all of those things. And then I think it gets kind of interesting. And so what is the problem? How does that, what has been disrupted in that particular relationship? And I think we have to look to structural elements, and that comes out here quite a bit in terms of technology and other elements, structural elements in our lives that present other priorities as all being the most important priority. And we have this thing that we are sort of driven to do, that we understand, which is leisure, and we understand that it is good and positive for our mental well-being. But these other priorities, it almost turns into something that we would consider to be that Anthony Hopkins film, The Remains of the Day. And then when it becomes the remains of the day, it too becomes work. And it's very difficult. Now, of course, there's, I understand, and clearly you understand, that there's a large portion of the population that uptakes to the notion of leisure benefiting mental wellness, and that's all well and good. Having said that, I do believe that at the core, the issue is going to be more in keeping with the disruptive aspect of these structural elements, and that being time, work, etc., along with technology. And that leads me to my question. And here's my question, because there's a number of excellent points here related to technology. And I'm a firm believer that we have gone from this task orientation to a pre-industrial revolution to a time orientation to a ping orientation. And now we live in this world that the notion of free time is actually disrupted, and we have a disconnection between ourselves and this thing that we call free time. For a long time, we have argued that we are disconnected to nature. I would argue that we are disconnected to free time. My question to you is, and I love pondering this question, my question to you is, are we actually afraid of free time? Do we know how to use free time? And what does that mean to us? Thank you very much.